Hi everybody, welcome back to Barbara's Den. Now, I just wanted to talk quickly about what's going on in Columbia, South Carolina with the protesters. Well, hundreds of protesters came out to the to the State House last night. And they protested. And this one guy was interviewed by Darcy Strickland, um, WTH news anchor. And she asked him questions. So I was in Columbia last night helping my son. He just moved into his condominium over there. And we was over there. So we weren't in town where they were. We were just on the outskirts. So even though the curfew was put in at 6, we left Columbia around 12. We didn't see anything going on because everything going on is basically in the heart of Columbia at the Capitol. Well, the thing is this. The guy that was interviewed, he said they was protesting, everything was peaceful, and he started crying. I don't know if he was really crying or he just putting on. But he said when Charleston 9 was murdered by, whatever the boy name, he said they all came together, they protested, everything was peaceful. And he said nothing transcribed. He said, but yesterday, they was protesting peaceful like they, like South Carolinians do. And he said, some white guys came up and started throwing water bottles at the police. And started setting the police cars afire. So after a peaceful rally turned into a violent rally, the police, now think about this now, they had all of this police gear and everything set up for Columbia walking toward wherever they were walking. I didn't even see no people. So I'm like, so where are the people you supposed to be guarding against? Well, the people was at the State House and you had cops or whatever not in right gear. They're standing up there guarding the door. And people were peaceful. That's what Carolinians do. They walk, they protest, they walk. Like they had a protest going to the courthouse in Sumter. They went up there, then they sat down, they had a little speech and whatever, and everybody went home. Well, yesterday the guy says some white guys came up throwing water bottles at the police, setting the fires. Then the police came and the mayor, Sheriff Anthony, he set a curfew, 7:20 last night. He set a curfew for 6 o'clock because we was in Columbia. Now, we weren't nowhere near that. But, so, he sets the curfew because it turned violent. So, what did they tell the protesters to do? Go home, go home. I mean, once the violence start, like one of the girls that was out there interviewing, she said when she come out, it was thousands of people. And she said when she started talking to Dr. Strickland, she said a lot of the people, she don't know where the people went. I said, maybe the people went home. So there was still a lot of people left. So I guess when violence hit, like I say, we ain't about no violence over here. We Carolinians, we not about that violent. Protesting is one thing. Riots is something completely different. When you start throwing water bottles and stuff at the police, then it's become a riot. So she said a lot of people went home. She can't even fathom that she come out there with thousands of people. And by the time I guess she got there and started interviewing, it was on a handful of people. She said she don't know where the people went. I think they went home. I don't think they went to jail. But, so, They tell him, go home. Anthony said he talked to a few people, giving his card. It was like maybe 6 or 8 young people he was talking to, giving cards. Tell me what I'm saying, but that chaos that's in these other states, it's not in South Carolina. So he tell everybody go home. This and this and that. This and this and that. It's better to go. Yeah, I understand this, which it's better to go home than get arrested. Cause getting arrested is not gonna solve anything. The streets are clear. They had 1 or 2 people out. The police running down and telling them, go home, go home. So it's just a few people out. So they tell them to go home. So when they showed it earlier today, the streets were completely clear. There was nobody on the streets. So it's like this. Like the young man say, we come out, we protest, it's peaceful. He said then these people throwing stuff at the police, instigating a riot. So, and he asked them, why are you doing this? It's just a peaceful protest. Why are you doing this? So, since you want to riot, see, like in other states, it's more white people than black people. But in Columbia, as I look at the different ones showing the people, it's majority black people. And he said, and 1 or 2 white people came and instigated the riot and turned it violent. So, if I'm out there just standing around, protesting, really not really doing anything, just out there, the first person to throw something, I'm going home. Because I'm not going to be tear gas and none of that. If you get me to go out there in the first place. But if you take a good look, there was really nobody. Let me go back and show you what I'm talking about. Few problems reported 3 hours ago. Let's see. I hadn't seen this one. You see how they just there? And it's the majority of black people.
Marching down Hampton Street, blocking protesters from getting to the Columbia Police Department around midday. Columbia Police, Richland deputies.
You see, why are these people dressed like that? What in the world?
Creating a line in front of protesters.
You have never seen protesters in Columbia have never ever done this. All this heavy police force.
How many people have actually been placed in custody? Earlier today, Columbia Police said more than a dozen people were arrested from yesterday and last night's protest. About 15 minutes or so ago, we started to get social media posts as water bottles and other things were being thrown at the State House. There are reports of police using tear gas after some of those water bottles were thrown. All of this as a curfew for downtown Columbia remains in effect. It started last night at 6 and it lasts until tomorrow morning at 6. There was no downtime. It's been in effect all day. In addition, another curfew, including 5 points, is also in effect until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning.
So, that's what I said. It's not a huge thing. So let me go over here. Let me see. Let me click back on that and then go down. See what's down here. Fire department talks about damage during protests. So okay, let's look at this one.
During the course of this protest the last couple of days, police cars have been set on fire and a fire truck itself was damaged. We're going to hear now from the fire chief, Aubrey Jenkins.
We actually had 2 firefighters injured yesterday, but they're doing fine.
Injured putting out a police car fire.
And now they're back on duty, so we're proud of them.
Chief, exactly how were they injured? What was going on?
It was because somebody threw a rock or some type of debris up there.
Yesterday they say water bottles and rocks at the police. And a young man said who threw the waters, it weren't the black people that were protesting because they just go out, just standing around protesting. They don't do anything.
Caught up with
I didn't even hear them
Members of their
saying
department,
chanting or
as
anything.
well as members of the Richland County Sheriff's Department, were
Like
tracking
they say,
down the
that's not who
gentleman
we
who they
are.
say threw the rocks there at the same time as a fire was going on at CWP. What's the latest with the fire?
Well, the fire, good thing it didn't do much damage. Somebody went inside there and set a fire to the inside of the bathrooms, but luckily we were able to get there in time before it did any significant damages.
Well, we certainly are glad that your firefighters are okay. You mentioned to me last night that the fire trucks were still able to answer calls, even with broken windows. And you mentioned to me just before we started this interview, today's a whole lot different.
Yeah, today is a whole lot different. We haven't had experienced luckily any fires so far. And I
Because
think it's a little more calmer crowd today. So today is a whole lot.
if I understand, the crowd was calm yesterday until a couple of Caucasian people came, broke out windows and set police cars afire and throw rocks and water bottles at the police. Seems to me the crowd was pretty calm. But this point right here is what I'm saying. You don't see a lot of damage. And another thing he said, the crowd is pretty peaceful, because that's how South Carolina know. So it's something he said. I keep losing my memory on what he was saying. Sunday protest much calmer. So let's click on the Columbia,
We begin
today
our team
protest.
coverage tonight with Alicia Diabez, who was with law enforcement officers as several arrests were made today. She's outside police headquarters with the details.
A different atmosphere in Columbia's Vista Sunday night, especially outside Columbia Police Headquarters, Justice Square.
Cause nobody trying to burn down no police department. Cause I remember what I was gonna say. When the police officer gunned down that guy, should have shot him in his back, like he did. They protested or whatever. I don't even remember a protest. The cop got arrested. Got arrested, charged, went to trial, found guilty. If I understand, got 20 years. So why would you burn down the police department? In a blatant case like that, it got handled. You just blatantly gunned down an unarmed man. It got handled. So I don't understand why they expected black people to burn down the police department when they aren't the ones setting the fires in the first place. In other states, they aren't the ones setting the fires.
Sunday afternoon, protesters took over Hampton Street following a rally at the State House for the second day in a row. They were headed to Columbia Police Headquarters, but as soon as they hit Lincoln Street, they were met with a line of officers. Tear gas was deployed, a few protesters detained.
Why are you shooting tear gas at people just walking? People just walking.
The rally continued at the State House Sunday. Police shut down
But they're not allowed to go to the
protesters were on the move again.
Colonial Life Arena. Because I know
Columbia Police patrolled the streets, telling everyone to go home. In the Vista Sunday night, a different sight. No one on the roads, businesses closed until curfew was lifted Monday morning. Law enforcement is keeping up these
that's what people say home. You don't want us to know. Okay, we go home.
6 a.m. Monday.
Because it's majority black people that's protesting. They got some rights out there, majority black people protesting. And we got better things to do than to be burning down, than to burn down our country, to burn down our city. So, it is what it is with that. But anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.